Hi there, it is Father Phil from St. Mark's Church in Southborough, and it is time for PJ Prayers with me, Father Phil, which at the point we gather every Sunday night at this time at 7:30 to read a couple of books and to hear a Bible story and to say some bedtime prayers. It's really great to have you here with us tonight, and I'm looking forward to sharing some great books with you. Remember that during this time, you can always put your name in over at the chat, name of someone, kid that you have in your life that you would like me to pray for. So go ahead and do that. You can put their name in the comment section. I'll pray for them when I get there. Our first book tonight is Olivia the Pig. This is by Ian Falconer. This is Olivia. She is good at lots of things. And this says 40 very loud songs. She is very good at wearing people out. And she's kicking a ball and hammering and playing with a yo-yo and jump roping and all sorts of other stuff. And down there at the end it says she even wears herself out. Olivia has a little brother named Ian. He's always copying. Here they are, putting lipstick on. Sometimes Ian just won't leave her alone, so Olivia has to be firm. She dresses up in looks like in a paper bag and draws a scary face on it. Olivia lives with her mother, her father, her brother, her dog Perry, and Edwin the cat. In the morning, after she gets up and moves the cat and brushes her teeth and counts her ears, combs her ears, not counts her ears, and she moves the cat again, Olivia gets dressed. She has to try on everything. And look at that. She's got on sunglasses and a turtleneck and earmuffs and an opera dress and a bathing suit and a backpack and sunglasses and all sorts of other stuff that she is trying on. On sunny days, Olivia likes to go to the beach. She feels it's very important to come prepared. Look at her down there. She's got on goggles and earplugs and floaties. Last summer, when Olivia was little, her mother showed her how to make sand castles. She got pretty good. Look how tall that sand castle is. My sand castles are not that big. Sometimes Olivia likes to bask in the sun, and when their mother sees that she's had enough, they go home. Look at that, she turned all pink over there. And every day, Olivia is supposed to take a nap. It's time for your you-know-what, her mother says to her. Of course, Olivia's not at all sleepy. On rainy days, Olivia likes to go to the museum. She heads straight for her favorite picture. Olivia looks at it for a long time. What could she be singing? Do you see what her favorite picture is? It looks like they're ballerinas. She's looking up at that picture. What do you think she's thinking? Oh, this is what she's thinking. She's thinking, got a light there, that she's the ballerina. But there is one painting Olivia just doesn't get. I could do that in about 5 minutes, she says to her mother. This one right here. And as soon as she gets home, she gives it a try. Splashing paint all over. I bet you could do that in 5 minutes too. Time out. After a nice bath and a nice dinner, it's time for bed. You should not paint on the walls, right? You might get a timeout or worse. But of course, Olivia's not at all sleepy. Only 5 books tonight, Mommy, she says. No, Olivia, just 1. How about 4, 2, 3, Olivia says. Oh, all right, 3, says her mother, but that's all. When they finish reading, Olivia's mother gives her a kiss and says, You know, you really wear me out, but I love you anyway. And Olivia gives her a kiss back and says, I love you anyway, too. And she's dreaming of being an opera singer. And that is the end. Olivia. Our Bible story tonight, we're continuing in this book of miracles of Jesus, and this one is Jesus opens the eyes of a blind man. One time, when Jesus was approaching Jericho, there was a blind man sitting by the side of the road, begging. Hearing the crowd, he asked what was happening, and he was told that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by. So the blind man called out, Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. The people in front scolded him and told him to be quiet, but he cried out all the more, Jesus, Son of David, have pity on me. Jesus stopped and had the blind man brought to him. And Jesus asked him, What do you want me to do for you? The blind man said to him, Lord, let me see again. Then Jesus said to him, Receive your sight. Your faith has made you well. Instantly, the man's sight returned, and he followed Jesus, praising God, and all the people who saw it praised God as well. Jesus opens the eyes of a blind man. Our second book tonight is The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. And I love this picture here. At the end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there, and why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you, perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents, and a nail, and the shell of a great, great, great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail and makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you paid him away in his snurve, his secret strange hole in his grooveless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper, my phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slop. Down slops the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old once-there's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a sneggerly holes, and he sounds as he's had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorix got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, the bright-colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I've been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what I'd do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I'd built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took that soft tuft and I knitted a need. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of that tree I'd chopped down. It was a sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed. What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I am doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. That thing is a need. Needs a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt. It's a sock. It's a glove. It's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool need. But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the need I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts. I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance. for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all in that factory I'd built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting needs just as busy as bees to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacka. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in the shade of their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round. And my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads, I biggered my wagons, I biggered their loads of the needs I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snaggered. He sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a cruffulous croak, "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat. But smog will get you every time." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you've smogged up around here." "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making gluppity glup and sloppity slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you." "You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so schmeary." And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say, bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle a treasoneth needs, which everyone needs. And at that moment, that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard that tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget that grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. See him down there? So catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. And that is the end of the Lorax. It's now time for us to say some prayers together. So again, if you would like to put a name in over there in the comments section, that would be great. And when I get to that part, we'll say those names. And I invite you to join in these bedtime prayers that we've been praying here for a very long time in our family. I hope you will join in. Guide us waking, O Lord, and guard us sleeping, that awake we may watch with Christ, and asleep we may rest in peace. Lord, you now have set your servant free to go in peace as you have promised. For these eyes of mine have seen the Savior, whom you have prepared for all the world to see, a light to enlighten the nations, and the glory of your people Israel. Guide us waking, O Lord, and guard us sleeping, that awake we may watch with Christ, and asleep we may rest in peace. And now, making the sign of the cross on everyone that is there with you, say, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and give you peace and joy and love and hope. And tonight we pray the Lord be with Kaylin and Sean and Joey and our other friend Joey that's often here, and Vivi and her little brother Andrew, And sometimes there's another Caitlin who comes on, and other kids as well. Pray that the Lord would be with them all and be with all those people that we love, especially those who've been sick with COVID, that they may be comforted, and that all the doctors working on a vaccine and trying to find a cure would be able to do so. And now, friends, it's time to probably get ready for bed if you haven't already done so. So make sure you brush your teeth really, really well. Wash your hands all the time, right? You got to keep washing your hands really, really, really well. And then give hugs to those people that you live with. Let them know how much you care about them. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, because that's this week too. And I look forward to seeing you next Sunday at 7:30 when we'll have PJ Prayers one more time. I'm looking forward to seeing you then. Have a great night. Bye.